Welcome back to Steaming Pile with Lauren and Tucker. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Tucker.
And Tucker, I saw the question posited online. You know someone is breaking into your house in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Do you do any prep? Do you try to escape?
Do I know how they're breaking in?
We'll just say through the front door.
Okay. 5 minutes. Woof. That's a tricky one. Can't call the police. They're not that quick.
No.
I mean, I guess you could call the police. They have 5 minutes head start. You gotta. Yeah. Well, here's the problem. You can't attack them. If you attack them, you have to kill them. That's just
true.
That's just how the legal system works. You can try to. See, here's the thing. This question presupposes that you can only see a little bit of the future, or maybe you were told this, but you don't. The tenacity of thieves is underrated. You try blocking and barricading the front door, they'll go in through the window. You can only barricade so many entrances. Your house is not Fort Knox. You'd have to kill him. You gotta just wait. You just gotta wait there with a shotgun. Unlock the door for him. Oh no, then it wouldn't be breaking and entering. Then it would just be trespassing, and you can't.
Yeah, then you just shoot a trespasser.
Yeah, and that's, I think, in some states still technically legal, but still not looked on favorably.
Yeah, no, I think it depends on what the castle laws are, if they have any.
Yeah. What would you do, Lauren?
Ooh, see, there are some things I would like to do. I just lack the accoutrement for it, because I would really, really like to get a massive strobe light.
Oh.
Like, assuming this is at night, all the lights are off. If you break in and the first thing you see is just strobe lights, that buys me, like, time to hit you with the strobe light. Mm-hmm. I also have really gotten into the idea of fire extinguishers.
Ooh, there you go.
If you just, like, hose them down and then you still have a blunt object.
Mm-hmm.
Learned that one from the school teachers. And I did see one suggestion that was throwing an aerosol can in a microwave and hitting popcorn. But then you also have to exit.
Yeah. Yeah, what would that do? I guess it would...
Oh, it would explode.
Yeah, but like it would just destroy the microwave, right? It wouldn't like take down the kitchen or much less the house. All right.
I don't know. I don't have a microwave or apartment to lose.
So we can't just test that.
Mm-hmm. I have recently learned that flour is combustible.
Oh yeah, it is. It's not safe. Flour is not safe. Coffee creamer is worse.
Is it?
Powdered coffee creamer, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. What makes that worse? Is it the sugar substitutes, or?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. But I keep forgetting that flour is flammable.
And every time because we have just like a container of flour that we keep by the stove, and we probably shouldn't. And every time I put it back there, I'm like, this is bad. I shouldn't keep doing this, but I will.
Have you moved it?
No.
Well, it was nice knowing you.
Yeah, speaking of burns, I burned my thumb, and every time that happens, I am always amazed at like the immediate physical response of like the pain receptors and then just the skin instantly blistering. It amazes me.
It's incredible.
Leprosy's a bitch.
That's the response to burns. I wonder if I wonder at what point that was required by evolution, because I can't, right? Because every evolution needs a filter step. What was the filter step to things that don't respond to burns? Because even cells like single-celled organisms will move away from heat because I guess proteins denature. So at some point, that's it, right?
Yeah.
That is, I mean, that's just a filter for life. It's not an evolutionary filter.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because I guess it wouldn't necessarily have had to been after fire was
Yeah.
discovered.
Yeah, no, you can get burned other ways.
Mm-hmm.
Lava,
Hot rocks.
hot rocks. Where does one just find a hot rock? Just baking in the sun, I guess, in the
It's
desert.
yeah, near
That's, I mean, that's hot
lava.
enough. Yeah, it exists. All right, all right, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, don't burn your thumb. Don't go and do that. That's silly.
Yeah, no, I didn't do it on purpose. Because sometimes I forget that heat transfers, and so you can turn
Oh.
on the oven, but the heat will still seep through the burners. And
Mm-hmm.
if you leave a metal lid there, it'll catch. It's really painful.
Yeah, yeah.
But the
Especially.
yeah, the human body is simultaneously so delicately put together, and other times it's the one Jenga block can ruin the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how many things can kill us, but it's also amazing how it can sometimes just take a lot. Very specific things can kill us, but sometimes it it just heals right over. You just have a scar. It's like, how? What? How is that possible?
Yeah,
But we just don't have the
it's
mechanisms to deal with some things like
yeah,
poisons. There's no reason for the human body to have ever have dealt with that ever.
yeah.
So it just can't.
I mean, we deal with like mild toxins.
Well, yes, but it does do damage on the way out if you don't have enough. If it's not a lethal amount,
True.
I mean, it's still gonna have its own mechanism of action. It's just gonna. It'll hurt. Radiation.
Oh yeah, radiation's just weird.
Yeah, and you can deal with it, but there is too much. You can have too much radiation.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much to have too much.
Is that true?
I don't know. I'm mostly basing my knowledge of how much radiation a human body can take on the Chernobyl miniseries, and
I mean, still
pretty
a
much all
lot.
of them died. Yeah.
Chernobyl. I Chernobyl was there was a lot of radiation.
Yeah.
There was so much.
There's so much.
Like, I can't even begin to imagine. Like, just equating it to something else, like chest X-rays.
Oh yeah.
How many chest X-rays does
Equals to
Chernobyl lose?
Chernobyl.
That's
Americans will use anything but the metric system.
Chest X-rays versus Chernobyl.
Someone's got to have done this math.
Hmm.
But the radiation is weird, and I know radium and radiation, despite having a base word, aren't necessarily one to one.
Mm.
But just like the whole idea that back in the day, you were just told to lick radium like raw,
That's why.
to make watch faces glow in the dark.
To lick it?
Yeah, because they would have these brushes and they would be painting over the numbers on these watches. And so to get the very delicate fine point, they would like slip the brush through their lips.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was bad. There was a lot of like, the company trying to cover it up. These girls would have like their jaws erode. It was not great.
I did not know they licked it. Okay, that's fascinating. It's 80,000 to 160,000 chest X-rays. What some of the people were exposed to at Chernobyl.
Holy smokes.
So it's a lot of X-rays.
That's so many X-rays.
So yeah, you can the body can take radiation. Clearly it's medical practice.
Yes.
To radiate people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Chernobyl was massive. There's so much. It was so much.
I'm so fascinated with disasters by that. I worked at an oil refinery for a summer, and I didn't have a lot to do during the day, so I just read about like disasters and things that would have like exploded at refineries and the things they did to fix them. And it always fascinates me at just how, like, in the moment, day to day, you don't think about the procedures and stuff that would catch what would lead to an explosion or to a fire. But looking back on all of those stories, it's like it really is just those one things
Yes.
that make the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And huh,
Does it ever make you think just one thing though? There's only one blocker for all of these catastrophes. Is that really? We don't have like two or maybe three.
I mean,
Two at
it's
the very least. Come on. Now. Come on.
in some ways it is kind of too, because it's like if multiple people are ignoring a thing.
Oh yeah, that hasn't happened before.
No.
Anyway, we were talking about Chernobyl, right?
Anyway,
And
yeah.
but it's just some things, I guess the human body included, are they're just they're so delicate, and even though they can be like in normal operation they can be robust, there is just one thing stopping everything, from
Yeah.
tumbling, right?
Yeah.
Late stage Jenga tower. So I just it's and that applies to, I can only imagine, a lot of systems of every scale.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I go through phases where I get really fascinated with like professional wrestlers and how so many of them die before 50, whether from injury or consequences from said injury. And there's so many instances where like a single part of their spine just gets bent out of whack, broken, whatever, and then you're just paralyzed forever. And we all have the same spine, and all it takes is just like that one thing, and then it's over. It baffles my mind.
Yeah. The human body just isn't equipped to deal with certain traumas.
Yeah,
Pretty much anything with the nervous system.
yeah,
That's like probably the most delicate of all.
potentially. I'm not an anatomist.
Oh no, but I mean, I'm just trying to think of something that can just silently kill you, like anything to do with the nervous system, because it really kind of reigns over everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, and then it fascinates me. I've read a couple things about how in car accidents, especially involving drunk drivers, the drunk drivers usually emerge unscathed because they're intoxicated and their body doesn't seize up. And so whenever the impact happens, they just kind of ragdoll physics their way through it.
Yep.
And miraculously nothing snaps.
Well, yeah,
Because you would think, yeah.
woo, noodle arms.
Yeah. And I heard one story about, I think it was a 12-year-old. Or no, it was a couple of 12-year-olds. I think it was in South America. And they survived by themselves in the wilderness for like 30 days. Which is significantly longer than I would have given a couple 12-year-olds credit for.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's because they're not aware that the choices they make could kill them.
Oh,
They may be aware of their own mortality, but like if you or I got lost in the middle of nowhere, I would give up after a certain number of days, because it's like, what else can you do? And I think adults have that impulse that kids just don't have.
Perhaps, yeah. I'm surprised they didn't go all Lord of the Flies.
Right? There's only two of them.
Oh, okay. I thought there were more than two.
Maybe
Because that book really does feel like nonfiction. Like if you put a bunch of kids in the middle of nowhere, it would devolve like that. It would that would just happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has that ever been tried? Are you allowed to try that? Didn't they have a TV show about that? They made a TV show where they had...
Oh, Kid Nation, yeah. Where they were dropped off in like, kind of like, it's in California or somewhere in the Southwest, but just like kind of a desert. And they're supposed to have structures and they do challenges and all of that, yeah.
Yeah. Did that devolve into Lord of the Flies type business? Tomfoolery?
Not quite.
Really? Was it contrived at all? Was it, classic American TV show? I guess it hasn't devolved to the point where it is today. But
Right. And I don't remember if the show's still going on because John did like a two-parter where he talked about the show and then he had one of the kids who was on the show on his channel to talk about it. And that was a kid who, when they asked, "Hey, if you want to go home, that's okay," the kid was first to put his hands up. He's like, "Nope, I'm out. I'm going home."
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because it was like, yeah, there were two cabins, one bathroom, and they would just be given arbitrary challenges by the adults.
There you go. There's the contrived part.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not scientific at all.
It's, yeah.
I want to know if just left alone, does it devolve into Lord of the Flies? I feel like it would. But of course, American television had to ruin it. Of course they did. Yeah. They had this opportunity. And then they're like, herder, let's make it like Hell's Kitchen. That's not...
We want to see the kids actually accomplish something. Because I do think, like, if you have a good mix of, like... Well, that would be the thing, is you could take, like, a bunch of oldest siblings, middle children, youngest children. If you have a mix of those, what kind of hierarchy develops there? If you throw in single children, how does that affect things? What kind of backgrounds do these kids come from? Like,
oh, for sure, yeah. We don't get anything interesting on shows like this. It's just never going to happen.
Yeah. Because I think they try, but I think once we found out that most reality TV was scripted.
They've just stopped trying to hide it at this point.
That is true, yeah.
But people still watch it. Watch it. It blows my mind.
And people watch it by proxy. I mean, I'm guilty of that. I watch other people watch reality TV. But then I'll see previews that I'm like, this is bad. Like,
yeah.
This is dangerous at this point.
Oh, like it wasn't dangerous before?
Oh, it was pretty much always dangerous because it's kind of goes back to the geek show principle that we've talked about, where it's like, these are real people. What are we inviting by filming them in this way? What are we asking viewers to do?
Yep. And the problem is the whole concept of the reality TV show being enjoyable to watch is kind of an oxymoron, because everyone has a reality. So why would you watch another reality? It has to be so different from yours that it doesn't seem real. And whether that's contrived or not, I guess, is up to the show.
Yeah.
And I suppose to really drive that point home, it is contrived in most cases, because otherwise it's boring as hell.
Yeah. That's how I always felt about, like, vlogging YouTubers, because of course, we all think about, like, what we would vlog about if given the opportunity. And that would be exhausting.
Yes.
To, like, every
and probably
day.
Boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To just, like, I don't want to take you with me on my day.
Yeah.
It's
like, why do people, like, take Casey Neistat for example, when he vlogged every day. Every single day for years, he made a short movie about his day. Speaking not only of the effort, but you have to have an interesting life in order to be able to keep that up. And to be fair, he does have a somewhat interesting life. But the vast, uncalculably vast majority does not.
And I don't even know, like, with him is like, what did he do in addition to vlogging? Because I've only known him as a YouTuber. I don't know if he had, like, a job outside of that he would vlog, or if the point of the vlog was the vlog and the day was built around making something interesting.
So I don't know much about what he does outside of that. So before he started doing it, he had a short series on HBO. I think it was the late 90s. It was called The Neistat Brothers. And then he I don't know what he did between he makes like I assume short movies, but I have no idea. And now he's asked to do speaking engagements, but there's a chicken and egg problem. Does he get the speaking engagements and the free airline tickets because he's become a marketing machine because he has such a large following on YouTube, or vice versa? How did he get that? Yeah. And right, like if you're going to vlog every day, you have to have something to vlog about. Again, it's another chicken and egg problem. So I don't actually know what he does. At one point, he tried making an app.
They all did.
Well, this one was like it was called Beam. It was like Snapchat, except it would only work if you held your phone up to your chest, so that you weren't looking through. This is how you recorded, right? So that you wouldn't, and it was just automatic. You wouldn't have to do anything. You just held it up so that you could still be there in the moment, but it was also recording it.
Huh. And
I think, if I remember correctly, I think CNN bought it. CNN bought one of their projects. And then like destroyed it. But
it happens.
Yeah. I don't. So yeah, he's. I mean, I don't think it's a secret what he's done. I just don't know.
Oh, no.
And
profoundly confounds me. It's kind of fun to have like just celebrities. Like I say fun, but just like how we reached that point where we can point to is like, yeah, they make stuff. I don't really watch their stuff, but I know they make stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I assume he had other people working with him, because if you're vlogging every day, like 4 to 6 of those hours have to be like, all right, we're going to edit what we filmed yesterday.
Yeah, no, he didn't sleep a lot. I don't recall his schedule, but he definitely doesn't sleep a lot. And his vlogs were a day behind real time, if I remember correctly.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
Or dedication, or the hustle, or whatever people want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fascinated by like the era of daily uploads. I think people have kind of moved away from that. There are people I do still watch that upload daily, but it's so. I'm amazed that people got through that and didn't quit in like 2018 or whenever it kind of quit being a priority.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even be able to keep up with weekly uploads. That's insane.
That's insane. And I guess it's easier if it's your full-time job, but once every 2 weeks is about all I can manage, and that's only if I have like stuff stocked up in the back.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how these people do it. I guess it's because they vlog and the idea is their life and they have to live their life every day. So you never drive ideas. We don't do that. We actually need to start with an idea, and oftentimes that's the hardest part. So I don't understand how people who kind of merge those two together.
Because like
I guess
it's, if I set up like a vlog of every day, it'd be like that channel where the guy just sat in front of his door staring at the camera. Because I would hop in, I'd sit down, and work for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Although, over this past weekend, my husband and I strove to achieve boredom. Like we didn't have any plans, and so we stuck to that, and that was amazing.
Oh, just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That felt amazing.
Yeah, I get that. I'm terrible at resting, doing nothing. In fact, I would say that I'm practically incapable of it. But the difference is I can't enjoy that for some reason. I just can't do nothing, and it's really annoying because I'd like to be able to. Tell me, how do you reach this nirvana? How do you do it? So the opposite of the grindset lesson. Here we go.
Yeah. All right. So the big number one thing is to tell yourself you have time, because the number one thing is we have an expectation that we have to do literally everything by the time we're 30. And if we can't do that, it's expired. So step one, you have time. And I'm not going to say, don't rush, because that's not helpful. But the big thing that has helped me is telling myself I have time.
Yeah.
And if I don't want to do it, I don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had days where I'm like, I could edit this book, I could write more things, I could, catch up on movies that I've missed. And if the inertia is too great, I don't do it.
Mm.
Because sure, there's merit and value in sitting down and making yourself do it. But there's also merit in not in giving yourself a break, because it is in the time where you take like true breaks
Mm-hmm.
that I think it makes it easier to come back to stuff.
Mm.
And in some respects, I didn't completely do nothing. I did read, but reading with like nothing else playing in the background is kind of like as close as a lot of people can get, I think.
It's relaxing, and that's really
It
what you're
is,
shooting
yeah.
for. You're resting.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, reading is, and indeed, a leisure activity. You're not
Yes.
being productive at all.
Yeah. Or tricking yourself into doing things that are technically accomplishing things, but they aren't. Like we did a lot of cooking one of those days.
That's productive, but not in the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a sneaky way to get something accomplished that benefits you without serving the capitalism machine.
Yes. That's true. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
And a
I-
good couch. I think if you have a good couch, then you can just fold yourself into like the corner of.
Mm-hmm.
Let it suck you in. Let it absorb you. Let it lace over you and keep you in position.
Oh yes, my couch electrically reclines.
Ooh.
So so I can fall asleep on that couch.
Oh, yeah.
It's yeah. So it's just something I have to learn. I'm so horribly bad at resting to the point where I can really only rest if there's literally nothing else to do. If I've removed everything else from my environment, then because I get so easily distracted by ways in which to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
So I truly need to purge my environment of everything productive that I can do. And that is very, very hard.
Yes.
Because like even on like flights where you cannot really be productive, I find a way. So it's like, Tucker, you're gonna melt your brain out of your ears. Just stop. I don't stop.
No one does.
It's horrible. And I know it's horrible. And I hate the fact that I do it. And that in the mindset is, I mean, it's good in that you're being productive, but at least for me it's bad because I again get distracted with everything that's productive even while I'm doing something productive. So I end up in this case where I do a lot of things, but I don't finish anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's hard to give like blanket advice because everyone's mind works differently and everyone's processes work differently.
yeah.
At least at work, what I started doing is like blocking my time of saying like from X to X time, I'm only doing this. And I'll mark myself as busy even so people don't contact me. And then I won't have meetings set up because anytime I am pinged or emailed, I have to respond to it.
Yeah.
Because it drives me nuts.
Just having that unread. Yeah. I get that. Yep. Ugh. It's horrifying. It's horrible. I just want to learn how to rest, Lauren. That's all I want to do.
I mean, in your defense, like we set up this weekend to do nothing, and it was really only Sunday that we did nothing, and that was really only possible because we knew we had 2 days of nothing. And so it's almost like you have to schedule it in advance.
That's tempting. That's tempting.
Yeah. If you just pick a day where it's like, you know what? Nothing's happening today. I am going to order food. I'm going to finally watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and that's just the day. And
It's
you
just
don't
what's
move.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. Well, maybe I should just, scribble something on the calendar. Nothing. Do
That's
nothing.
that's what I wrote for May 30th because that's Memorial Day. I think I wrote no work. All my homies hate work.
Yes, you just gotta just be in the mindset. Do nothing. Do nothing. Do nothing. Or don't do nothing because that's boring. Read, draw. I don't know, leisure activities that aren't actually productive in any meaningful way to
Yeah.
any of your goals.
Watch things that aren't actively engaging.
Yes.
Because I went home to visit my parents over Easter, and my sister's really into chops right now. And
Oh, that's not engaging at all.
but it's so good.
It's so good, yeah. Most of what Food Network makes is not engaging but good.
Because they would throw up stuff, and I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to begin combining these things. But they see the things come out of the box, and they're like, oh, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I learned what a Buddha's hand is.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah.
I once tried to make candied Buddha's hand. It did not go well. It was disgusting, and also the ants found it.
Oh no.
There's so many ants, Lauren. There were so many ants.
We have ants right now. And I used to be really diligent, and I would just kind of kill them as I found them. But that's left a bunch of like dead ant smears on the wall.
You can't have that.
Then they kind of walk through the graveyard, and it's a little morbid, and I feel bad.
You gotta have those ant traps where they enter and then they don't leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, part of it is we need to get the screen of the window replaced because it's kind of punched through.
Oh, that could be the problem. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe do that one first. Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And the screens of windows, I'm never sure. Like the weird thing about apartments is I'm never sure what is the tenant's responsibility versus what is the landlord's priority.
Do you rent or do you own?
We rent.
It's the landlord's responsibility.
Okay. Because, like, with light bulbs, I'm like, do we get light bulbs? Now, granted, it's one of those where, like, it's only lamps. There's no overhead lights.
Right.
Except in, like, the kitchen and the bathrooms. And so it's like...
Yeah. Light bulbs is an interesting gray area. I would expect the tenant to... I would expect the tenant to replace their own fixtures. And if they're not specialty light bulbs, then, maybe not expect, but, it's fine. You can do the things that are built into the wall. The ones out in the hallway, for example, to get into your apartment, if the common areas and whatnot, that's the responsibility of the building. Any infrastructure or just structure in general, that's also the responsibility of the building.
Yes.
Right, and I would count the screens and the windows.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because how else am I supposed to replace them?
Oh, this is what you pay for, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Get that screen replaced. It's not your responsibility.
No.
I mean, check your lease, but probably isn't.
Yeah. Renting is a weird thing.
Oh, sure.
And it's the future.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. And it's also more or less institutionalized.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's bad. It's like you're living in a streaming service.
Yes.
Why would you want that?
I don't know.
It's not even as good as a streaming service because at least with a streaming service is enjoyable and it changes and it doesn't it's not, well, I mean, it can be overpriced. Actually, no, it's exactly like living in a streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well.
Well, fun. Love the future.
Yeah. The rental economy is still ridiculously high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's like out by you, but here in the city, it's bad. It's.
I mean, Ours is pretty bad. It's pretty notoriously bad. I mean, renting is probably comparable to other cities, if not a little under, I would say. The housing market is stupid, though.
Yes. Yes. Things are going very, very high right now, like sky high. It's very, very interesting to see what people will pay for places.
Yeah.
God, and just, the renting is, it just beats you down. It's demoralizing trying to find a place that, and you're even willing to compromise on a lot of the things that you want, but it just demands more and more compromise. Like, how many cracks in the wall are you willing to accept? That's right. Like, for just astronomical monthly payments, and it's like, how do people do this?
Yeah. And we even renewed our lease, and we talked to the guy in the office, and he gave us, to our business's credit, he gave us like all of the rates for, like X months, Y months. And ours went up, I think, like 7%. Around us, it went up like 15.
Wow.
Yeah. And we have friends who live in New York, and that's astronomical.
Oh, New York's got to be so bad.
Yeah. I think it's either San Francisco or Sacramento that's also ridiculous, although I'm sure neither is great. Yeah.
It's always been bad. Living in California is just lighting money on fire, essentially. I'm not sure for what. The weather?
Job opportunities, probably.
What job opportunities?
That's the thing. If you want a job in like Silicon Valley, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because that's what always gets me, is people just move to LA or New York. And if it's not for work, if it's for the pursuit of work, because it's one thing if you move there and that's where your job is. It's another if you move with the expectation of finding work.
Sure.
Because why?
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't understand a lot of these a lot of decisions that people make. I just don't. I just can't key into it. I don't understand the calculus that they've made. I'm sure. I mean, it really depends. Are people thinking things through? It's hard to tell sometimes.
Oh yeah. So many times, there's just a number of things where I'm like, things were not thought through. And I usually have those thoughts when we're watching like meme compilations and people are getting things with one hand because they have to film with the other, and just having no understanding of center of gravity, motion, grip strength. Just none of the above is contemplated.
Yeah, no, that's what makes it funny.
Yeah. Oh gosh. What never fails to make you laugh? Like in some of those dumb kind of compilations. What is, or the thing that like it breaks you and you're like, gosh darn it, I did not mean to break on this.
That's a good question. I don't know if there's something that always gets me. When I'm truly taken by surprise, no matter how awful it is that I'm watching, no matter how awful it is. I will laugh so hard if it just like, so there was I forget what subreddit I found it on. It was probably cursed something or other, cursed videos maybe, and it was like an Instagram ad. It was cursed Nike shoe drop.
Ooh.
And it was these new Nike shoes, and it was like it had the text at the top, and there was a panel with a picture of the shoes, and then a panel with a picture of the shoes. And at some point in the video, they just turned, one of the panels turned into a guy literally fucking the shoe. And I just sat there laughing while it looped in front of me, and I'm like, oh my god. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming. So stuff like that. It never Like, it has to come so far out of left field. And it just... What never fails to make you laugh?
I am a sucker for a good, perfectly cut scream.
Those are good, yeah.
We've been binging the Unusual Videos series.
Oh, sure.
Because those are just some good collections. I am also a big fan of just cacophonous breakage of people falling through glass tables. Of people jumping through it. But the thing that has repeatedly broken me, like to the point where I am doubled over crying. I don't know if you're familiar with, there's this fan dub of the Sonic games. And it's dubbed over in real time, so they're improvising the whole thing. And Dr. Eggman gives this impassioned speech about Shadow the Hedgehog and his wife and pissing on the moon. And someone vocoded that to the national anthem. And it's so good because there's just this dramatic pause in a couple places and it just it makes me cry.
I have to look that up later. That sounds amazing.
It's so good.
Oh man. Yeah, no, some you laugh you lose challenges actually make me lose no matter how hard I try.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I am still alive. I have a soul.
It's important to have that sometimes.
I can't completely stone face. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I can't do that, which is a shame. Someone tells a funny joke at a funeral. I can't. I won't be able to stop.
Yeah.
It just yeah. Well, you can dress me up, but you can't take me out. That's the.
I was also, lately another thing that's gotten me is there's another meme. I think it pulls audio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, but it's basically like, my name is Giovanni Giorgio, but everyone calls me JoJo.
Oh, those
and
are
it
good.
just and I saw one and it was like a benefit to save some tavern in England, and they were chasing a wheel of cheese down a hill, and this woman threw herself down the hill, and like she's basically pinwheeling the whole way down, like locked elbows. She ends up with a dislocated shoulder, but man, she got that wheel of cheese.
Yeah, those are good memes. I think the audio comes from it's a Daft Punk song. I forget the name of it.
That also makes sense. The music break definitely makes sense that it would be Daft Punk song.
It's off of I don't even remember the name of the album. The new one with Get Lucky.
Oh.
My name is Giovanni Giorgio.
Everyone calls me
Random Access Memories.
Giorgio.
Okay. It's called Giorgio by Moroder. It's
That's
track
amazing.
3. It's track 3. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good song. It's yeah. This whole album's really good. Rip Daft Punk. But yeah, no, they're
yeah.
Those are some crispy memes, some spicy memes. Ooh.
There's another video too from Video Game Donkey, and he just basically made a compilation of these trucks trying to go under a bridge, and the bridge clearance is 11 feet 8 inches. These trucks are too tall. There are multiple signs indicating that if your truck is bigger than 11 feet 4 inches, you will not get through. And it like crumples the tops, it rips them clean off, it causes the front to flip. There's a truck that turns away from it, and then you hear the backing up beeping. as it comes all the way back into frame, backs up, and tries anyway. Those are also people who didn't think things through.
Why would going slower... Okay.
They commit lost cause fallacy.
There you go. But if it was a 12-year-old driving the truck, they wouldn't have the capacity to make such decisions.
No, they don't have the depth perception. Or something. There's some like critical thinking skill that like it's the reason where like 16 is like the youngest we can say, yeah, you can drive. That's fine. I'm going to go with reaction time. Actually, no, I'm not going to go with reaction time.
No.
I feel like 12-year-olds would be even better at reaction time than adults.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I think it's definitely some sort of... It's probably not even anything developmental. It's probably societal conditioning. It's probably, the gravity of what you're doing, right? That's probably, sets in stronger at 16 than it does at 12.
I am all for children believing in the killing power of automobiles.
It's not murder, it's vehicular manslaughter. There's a difference.
It's the car's fault.
They're written into the law differently for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Cars are bonkers. We were driving back for Easter, and we knew there was going to be snow. And so we tried to drive south. We were in a snowstorm for like 3 hours. We were crawling on an interstate at 30 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. The weirdest thing in my life. like I pulled over and hopped out in flip-flops to scrape my windshield because it was icing faster than the defroster could work.
Where was this?
Maryland.
In April?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's yikes.
Yes. And like I have not driven on ice for 5 years. Because the last time I drove on ice, I flipped my car.
Right.
And my passenger still married me. And so this time, like, it helped that I was like aware of it from way back, but life experience and just more time does wonders.
Oh yeah.
I'm shocked.
Would you consider yourself to be a good snow/ice driver?
I do now.
That's good.
Before driving through the blizzard, I would have said no. But as soon as I felt the skid, and I didn't panic and jerk the wheel like I did 5 years ago, I'm like, oh no, I understand how this works now. Yeah. This is awful. We're taking the train next time. But
oh yeah, take the train.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What the hell are you doing? There's a train option and you didn't take the train?
We didn't know there was a train option because my parents live in the middle of nowhere.
That's where trains go.
Not this kind of nowhere.
Oh, this is like advanced nowhere?
Yeah, where they're probably 45 minutes from that train station.
That's still worth it.
It is.
It's so worth it. Oh my god. Take the train. What are you doing? It's probably not even it's probably not even that far. Well, you're going down the East Coast, right? That's not far.
Yeah.
Right? You're not like spanning you're not going all the way down into the tip of Florida. You're just that's what. It's going to be what? A 7-hour train ride?
I think 11.
Is it overnight?
I don't know. Because if it's overnight, also a no-brainer.
If it's but if it's in the middle of nowhere, the train might like drop you off at 2 a.m.
That's close enough to when my dad wakes up anyway. So
well, there you go. Yeah. And we recently took the train out to Denver, and it goes through. Ooh. It goes through. I almost said Nevada, but that's not true. Nebraska, in just the dead of night, crawl into
Oh,
Omaha.
that's eerie.
I mean, it's dark. There's nothing in Nebraska.
Yeah.
But except for these tiny little towns that it stops at like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
That's
So yeah,
wild.
these places that are like, in the middle of nowhere. But if you were going from Chicago to Denver, it gets you there at like 7 in the morning. So it's like, well, good night.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
'Cause,
take
yeah,
the train.
yeah.
Oh, it's so nice. It's so
'Cause
nice.
I don't dislike driving, and even, driving with two cats, it wasn't that bad. But after a 7-hour drive turned into a 10-hour drive, I'm like, and this was April. I don't.
You see, once we were in California, I rented a car and then drove up to Winter Park, and it snowed there really hard for 2 of the days. And I learned that I was a good snow driver too, which was shocking because I haven't driven in forever. Like, not like difficult driving. And this is coming from the guy who still refuses to do city driving. Scares the crap out of me. I won't. I hate it. I hate going east to west in Chicago. Oh Lord. Oh, those roads.
No.
Oh my God. Irving Park Road can just die. Just. And it's like, and I think I just got a bad experience the first time I did it because it's 2 lanes, and then there are a lot of people park on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 1 lane, sometimes it's 2, and then and it's like, usually pretty busy because this is how you get to the highway, highway 90 or 94. And if you have the pleasure of dealing with an emergency vehicle, you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do? I don't know. I'm not equipped for this. Where do I go to get out of your way? I've gotten dirty looks from EMTs. I'm like, I'm sorry. There's cars here. I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I have to explain myself in hand signals while they're zooming by. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I've not driven. I've not lived like in cities, but I have driven through like Nashville and Atlanta.
Going through Atlanta at rush hour?
It's so slow.
Hell no.
It's so slow.
Absolutely not. Oh.
Because I'm amazed blood pressure isn't like a bigger killer in the U.S., because it's
already a pretty big killer, isn't it?
It is. But like for the amount of like traffic people sit in, I just, because I get it. I totally understand the feeling of like wanting the independence of having your own vehicle so you can go when you want, where you want.
Yep.
But gosh, for commuting there has to be a better way. And I say that as someone who doesn't have to commute anymore. Like, I just feel so bad. My husband and I will go grocery shopping like right after work because we both work from home, and we can leave like right at 5, and we're coming back having grocery shopped for the whole week, and we're still hearing about like traffic on the radio, and I'm like, it's 6 o'clock. Oh no.
Well, yeah, it's not ideal. And public transportation is just nice. It's so nice to be able to get places and not have to think about driving and not have to like deal with traffic. You know how it warms my heart. A lot of the trains in the CTA system, they go between highways, like they go down the middle of highways. And when the train doesn't move that fast, I think it caps out at 50 or 60. And a lot of times it moves faster than the highway, and it just warms my heart. It's just like, yes. And that's how you get like to take the blue line to the O'Hare.
Oh yeah.
When you're going to O'Hare and so many other people are going to O'Hare and you're just zip zap zopping by them, it's like, yes.
Yep.
Yes. And also no tolls. I mean, the train's $2.50, but if you have a pass, it's not that bad. You just whoosh, go. It's like, yes. I think even getting to and from the airport is, well, they can't tell if you're going to the airport. They can tell if you're coming from the airport, and they charge you a little extra for that.
Yeah.
Not if you have a pass, though. But it still beats Uber, and I'll bet you it still beats sitting in traffic because holy moly.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Traffic sucks.
Because I used to not understand how people were, cranking out audiobooks in their car driving to work. Because when I lived in Georgia and I commuted, I was in the car for like 15 minutes a trip, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I could read this faster.
Yeah.
And no, if you're sitting in traffic for an hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish we had more trains.
Mm-hmm.
I'll settle
Yeah.
for buses, but trains would be better. I like trains.
Trains are so cool.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Ah.
no, we're watching a show that's set kind of in a post World War One type setting, and oh, the trains, man, that was like the glory day of trains.
Yep. Yep. It's we gotta. Unfortunately, everything is designed to be car centric now.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just a shame. And what's crazy to me, it's not like trains are running empty. You see
No.
long haul trains sold out all the time, all the time. So it's like trains are kind of popular.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're serviceable. They're doing what they should do.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they're running at capacity with no empty seats.
I wonder how many train rides per day they do.
Depends on the destination. Some of the
yeah,
more
because I know that like planes are constantly going.
yeah. So yeah, I like, for example, the Cardinal runs every other day. That's from Chicago to, I think, New York, taking kind of a swoop down through the Appalachians. And then the Capital Limited, I think, runs every day. The Empire Builder probably runs every day. The California Zephyr runs every day. Then they have shorter trains, like to get from Chicago to St. Louis. I think they have either three or five trains a day in either direction. To get up to Milwaukee, there's the Hiawatha service, which I think runs 3 times a day, maybe 4 now. Yeah.
Then yeah, that's not bad.
And then you have, like, if you're lucky enough to be in a city with commuter rail, big cities, Chicago, Boston, New York, things like that, those trains run all the time. There is a metro train that runs all the way up to almost Milwaukee. It goes to Kenosha, which is really impressive for a commuter train.
Yeah.
It doesn't go there all the time, but it goes there several times a day, and it comes back from there several times a day, and that's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. I know that the Koch brothers were like the last bastion of anti-public transportation, and there's only one Koch brother left.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious if like
numbers.
I'm curious if like the second Koch brother is removed from the equation, who the next like asshole about public transportation will be.
The Ford Company, General Motors.
Yeah. Let them build the trains. Let them enter government contracts to build trains.
There's no money in that. No. There's no money in that.
I guess we'll just have to go with underground highways that are closed off, no oxygen.
Yeah, it's a fascinating idea.
He invented trains again.
Chugga chugga choo choo.
This is the dilemma, because I'm like, this is why billionaires or this is just why like idea guys are a problem, is they get to a position where no one feels confident enough to be like, you mean this thing that exists already?
You mean trains?
Yeah. On the one hand, it's like, we need that person to exist because that way money gets funneled to where it should go. On the other hand, I love dumb ideas so much. Yeah. I love seeing the dumb ideas put out confidently to the masses. And it just, it's why I love Detroit Become Human. It's a dumpster fire of a game. But I love it so much because David Cage believed in it so much.
And sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's... well, I don't know. It's the same as, it's you have these idea guys who have the means. Who's gonna stop them? You?
Yeah.
No. Maybe it'll work out.
Nah.
Hey, whatever gets more trains under the roads.
I know what can get more trains under the roads, and that's
What's
tonight's sponsor.
Tonight's sponsor. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Who is tonight's sponsor? Oh, wouldn't you like to know who sponsored us today? Nosy Rosie. Why do you care so much? I mean, I don't go around asking who sponsors you. No, something's up. Something's amiss. Who put you up to this? Was it Derek? Was it Martha? No, I'll bet you it's that prick that stands up by the gas station and tells everyone to have a nice day. Oh, no, I'm on to you. You think you're clever. You think you're clever, don't you? I would go back on this pretty quick. You don't know the consequences of what you're getting into, Lauren, all right? You ask about the sponsor. You ask to know who sponsored us, who gave us money today. I have connections that would blow your mind if you don't walk this back. I'm telling you, you don't understand the scope of the mistake that you're making here. So maybe just stop, okay? Just stop it. This message has been brought to you by the Consortium of Suspicion and Vague Threats. So thank you for your kind patronage, guys.
Wow.
Really appreciate it.
That'll definitely get some trains under the bridge.
Choo-choo?
Yeah.
But you want more trains, huh? You would, wouldn't you?
Why would you want more trains? You paid by Big Train? Big Rail? Actually, it would be Big Rail, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be
Rail?
Big Train.
I wouldn't go Googling that.
Google it. This has been Saving Pie with Lauren and Tucker. I've been Lauren.
And I have been Tucker.
We'll see you next time.